Hey there, this is Jacob Osborn on the campus of Huntington University. You're listening to Rooted. Make sure you subscribe to us on your preferred podcast app. And you can catch us every Thursday evening at 7 on 105.5 WQHU. And as always, you can stream Forster Radio anytime, anywhere on forsterradio.com or through the TuneIn app. Today I'm sitting down with Bob Burnsworth. So, not very many people here on campus know of you. I know you personally because you were my wheelchair basketball coach for my senior year of high school. But you weren't always a wheelchair basketball coach.
No, I actually never played basketball in high school or anything. Went out and tried out for basketball, and I was kind of tall and awkward at that time. Went in the gym, seen the things they had to do to make the team. I got up and walked out. Played basketball outside with my friends and buddies. I did track in school and cross country in school through junior high, and in high school I got out. Didn't do any sports in high school. Basically started my life in the high school world and graduated. And at that point I actually went down the road of living the fast life, the worldly way. Wasn't Christian, wasn't saved. Fell 18 foot off a roof back in 1988. I was 28 years old at that time. Broke my back, T12 and L1 vertebrae. And that's kind of how I got involved in wheelchair basketball coaching. Ended up going back to school after 4 years of drugism, alcoholism. Finally started giving my life to Christ. Got everything put together. Got involved in recreation therapy with the wheelchair basketball world. Basically took a degree in recreation therapy. Got my degree at Indiana Tech. Went to Turnstone Disabled Center for Adults and Kids and started coaching wheelchair basketball at a competitive level there. And did that for almost 20 years. I met Jacob. That's when we met. Telling your dad to come into the program, and he kept putting him off, and which I understand. I run to parents a lot were afraid about putting their kids in disabled programs because they didn't want to be classified as disabled and stuck in that program. But in the same token, we wanted them to be able to reach their potential as athletes or as human beings. That's probably where I thrive in coaching. I, being disabled and going from the able-bodied world to disabled world, was kind of a tricky situation, getting adjusted. A lot of friends, a lot of people kind of left me because I got disabled. Didn't know how to deal with it. So I decided it was not the way it was going to be. I started moving my next step to the next level of coaching and doing what I need to do to push myself to the next level. And with Christ pushing me all the way, it's worked pretty good for me.
And you've been literally to the next level by coaching the Olympics, right?
Yeah, I coached wheelchair basketball at Turnstone. Got asked to go coach the U.S. Gold Cup team in 2017. We went to Australia with 4 of the kids from the Turnstone program of 12. Went with that team over there. We had a real good tournament over there. We didn't win, but we had a real good tournament. It was a good experience. Been to the national level, had Turnstone, the ball teams up to the national level, second in the nation, as high as we got. Never won nationals, but when I get down to it, it's what the kids give 100%. It's not whether we win or lose. It's that we gain every time we go out in the field. We increase our ability. I just took over coaching and helping with able-bodied kids this year at the YMCA. So, and that's been a different concept for me, from wheelchair, trying to get people to understand how to shoot and dribble and all that stuff. And I'm showing it from a wheelchair, and they're like, yeah, how we do this? But each kid I've tried to work with is try to get them that next potential. I think that's where coaches, mentors, teachers, whatever, it's not about us. It's about giving our knowledge to the next generation to get them to the next level they want to be at and let them know they can be somebody, whether they're in a wheelchair, not in a wheelchair. You know, we have so many kids out here right now that are being bullied because their age or their race or their just disabilities or their weight or whatever. It's a cruel world out there, and we got to realize that we're got to start teaching people the right way. Just give everything we can to them to give them the next step. Coaching has allowed me to do that. I'm there with them at least 1 hour a day. I build a friendship with those kids. I build relationship with those kids. Some of them have become almost like their father to them because their parents are divorced or whatever. There's somebody else to talk to. And when the disabled kids, it's always gives like Jacob a chance to call and say, hey, how do I handle this? Got somebody give me a hard time about being disabled, or how do I start dating with girls who aren't disabled? How are they going to ask me out, and why would they ask me out? And because I myself questioned that when I first got paralyzed. How are other people going to accept me as disabled? Because there's so many people out there who aren't disabled. Why would they want to go out with somebody who's disabled Why would they want to be involved with me? Why would they want to be in my program? Why would they want to be in their group? So we have to teach them to bring their access of what they have available and put their stuff out there and say, here's what I can potentially help the group with. Because I look at the basketball as a group program, but also individual skill levels.
How do you, because I know you're super into like the community. How do you help the community with your like advocacy, I guess?
With my disability, I have people all the time come and ask me about ADA regulations and codes and rules and what they are. We're all here in this world to get along, okay? And I look at every building, and when I go into a facility, is it accessible or not accessible? First of all, if I can get in the building, it's a whole different ballgame. I'm in a wheelchair. I have crutches and braces. Jake walks on the crutches and braces, uses a wheelchair sometimes. We use a chair because it's more convenient for us. But at the same token, if I'm running around downtown in a wheelchair and I want to go to a restaurant or go to get a pop and it's not accessible, I'm not going to get in there. So I would talk to the business owners, kind of let them know, hey, here's what you need to do to make it more accessible to people. People don't realize in our little town of Huntington here, there's a lot of senior citizens and disabled in the population that don't go out because they don't have anywhere to go. They don't feel comfortable because sidewalks aren't where they need to be at. The curb cuts aren't where they need to be at. Sure, it's been this way for thousands of years since I've been born. Okay, for years, but we have to make those changes. All of us are going to get old someday. All of us are going to have a family member on crutches or walking with a cane or some kind of activity. So I advocate that quite a bit with my players and my people. I said, don't get mad about it. Tell them what they can do about it. And express to them, this is a law. Okay, it has to be taken care of. Of course, you run into some roadblocks where they're not going to do it and this and that. That's just the way it is. They don't see the benefit, then you haven't done your job yet. I think they'll realize it once they start losing money because the people aren't coming in their business because they can't get in the doors. There's a business in the area that for years you couldn't get into because of accessibility. Made some changes in their front doorway, and a guy in a big power wheelchair went in there one morning for breakfast. I've been trying to come in for 6 years and finally get to come here to eat breakfast. That's one of the hundreds of people in that downtown area or in the Huntington areas, period, that are trying to get the accessibility to areas. You get on the sidewalk and go from Huntington North to Huntington South, you're hitting potholes, you're hitting curb cuts, that aren't made right. We need decent sidewalks for the seniors that walk. If you're walking at night, you're not going to see those things. You trip on them, you could become the next disabled person because you fall, become a brain injury, head injury, or whatever. I'm involved with the community. I sell real estate for a living here in town, but I spend a lot of time downtown promoting Huntington, promoting things in the area. When we have bands, help or sponsor those. I help sponsor any kind of youth programs. I'm on the baseball teams and basketball teams within the area. I sponsor programs for them. I think we have to give back to our community, but we also have to set an example for our community. I can't be one of those out there complaining all the time. You got to be positive about life. God didn't put us here to be upset. He put us here to be happy people and do what we need to do. He's took over my life, and I gave it to him 20-some years ago, and I've been blessed ever since. It's not easy because people choose not to hang out with you because you're maybe too Christian-y for them, or maybe they just don't understand why you don't go drinking and smoking and partying with them, and that's not my lifestyle. It's just I've changed. When I was doing that, I was spiritually lost, and now I'm spiritually found. I love giving back to the community. I love giving to the kids. The youth of our generation is our generation to come. If they don't have the knowledge they need to succeed and feel comfortable about themselves, they're never going to get to that level. And that's where coaching has helped me with the kids quite a bit.
Is there anything actually, I got to say it into the mic. Is there anything that you would want to tell college-age students, even non-disabled?
Look outside the box.